Hey everybody, I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to week 13. Excuse my neighbors upstairs stomping on the ground. Welcome to week 13 of college football. Thankfully the Cyclones won last week, so it's a little less sad than before. Now I've tied the most wins in school history in a single season, so that's good. Next two games are looking interesting, but we'll see how it goes, I suppose. It was an exciting week for college football. Big 12 specifically, I didn't really pay attention too much outside of the Big 12. There are things that happened in the Big 12 that I wish didn't happen. Even less of a chance for Iowa State to control their own destiny now, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. Let's run through some of these games and get into it. So, Friday night, non-Big 12, but Michigan State was requested to be in here. Should be an easy win against Purdue. I mean, Purdue has been they don't even have a pulse, pretty much. I mean, let's be real, they just got destroyed by Penn State. At least they scored, I suppose, but geez, what a game. I think Michigan State would be fine if Michigan State, doesn't just clean house. I mean, just Michigan State needs to give it to Purdue or else it's kind of disappointing. So that's my take on that. Saturday, that was a Friday game, so Saturday now. There's 5 Big 12 games on at the 2:30 window, so that's a little bit annoying. There's not a single morning game, but what can you do? I plan to spend my time watching football because there's some really good games going on. This one not so much, not as important of one, but should be good. Arizona just beat Houston. Not much of an accomplishment, but they did it convincingly, so that's good. Underdogs to TCU. Again, at this point in the season, there's a lot more that I'm thinking about than this game, so I don't really have a feel for this one at all. There'll be other games to watch at this time. Another one, not super important. I'm kind of surprised that Tech is only a 3.5-point favorite over Oklahoma State, who, I don't know what to say about them. I think that whole team is just given up. It's amazing to see how bad they are, especially after initially being supposed to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the conference. They haven't even gotten a win yet, so that's interesting. Again, not a game to watch this week in the Big 12, though. Another one. Should be a close game. West Virginia had just lost, I believe. Yeah, they just lost to Baylor last week by 2 touchdowns. Very high-scoring game. But only in the first half. They scored 70 points in the first half, or 40 points in the first, something outrageous, and then didn't score at all in the third quarter. And I don't know. I wasn't watching it, but I heard it was just a track meet, not the most fun game to watch. Unfortunately, West Virginia lost, though. So I again don't care because this is the game to watch. There's this whole Big 12. How does Iowa State get in? A lot of things need to happen, but it's still possible technically. So Colorado just kind of took it to Utah last week. 49-24. Not surprising that they won, but in the fashion they did was surprising. Still everything to say about Utah. Forget them. But Colorado is now probably going to be in the championship game, barring some sort of miracle. One of the ways that they don't get in is if KU beats them. And I think it would be hilarious if they did. KU has started 0-4, 0-5, and now they've gotten 2 wins in a row against ranked opponents, Iowa State and BYU they beat last week. I didn't stay up for that game, unfortunately. I watched the first quarter, and then it was over at midnight, so I didn't watch it. But that was the first time in school history that they beat a ranked opponent 2 weeks in a row. Kansas did, so they could make it 3. This is the only time that Colorado might lose. Colorado either plays Houston or Oklahoma State next week, and that's pretty much a guaranteed win. So this is the only chance that Colorado really has to lose. So hopefully Kansas, this weekend I'm a Jayhawk. That's all I gotta say. Same time again, BYU, Arizona State. This is another one where we need to root for Arizona State, I think. It depends on if you're looking at Iowa State Big 12 championship or college football playoffs. So BYU is the only chance to really go into the college football playoff, maybe besides Colorado winning out. So depending on where you're looking, but if we're just looking at Iowa State Big 12 championship, there's a few scenarios that different things need to happen in this game, but most of the time it's Arizona State beating BYU. So I'll go with that. They had a bye week no, they didn't. Arizona State just clobbered Kansas State. That's right. Kansas State lost last week, very disappointingly, and the score was only 24-14, but it was like 21-0 at half or something like that. Like, Kansas State just looked like The Walking Dead. It was just ugly. So I don't really know. I'll be keeping an eye on this game as well. I'll be switching back and forth between the Colorado-Kansas game and this game, because this will kind of determine Iowa State's going, if they're going to the Big 12 championship or not. Of course, things need to happen next week as well, but if certain things happen in these two games this week, Iowa State is just out already. Finally, a 6 p.m. game, Baylor at Houston. I don't think there's too much to say about this. Houston is really bad. Baylor's fine. Not a super exciting game. I'm not sure what other games are out there. I know Alabama's playing Oklahoma around this time, if you're into that sort of thing. But 6:30, our game starts. So, of course, Iowa State is, I don't really know how to feel right now with them. They looked better last week, but still, who knows? Utah definitely doesn't look great, though. Hopefully we can win. I mean, Iowa State's Big 12 championship hopes ride on us winning the last two games, so Utah and Kansas State. So obviously that needs to happen. I'm going to root for Iowa State. I don't know how hard it is to play in Utah. We've never been there since they're new. Traveling that far is hard sometimes. Granted, it's only one time zone, so that's good. But, and a 6:30 p.m. game, so the body clock won't be super messed up. And we're used to playing night games, so should be fine. I'm hoping our players stay healthy and we can be productive on offense, not give up any chunk on defense, and we should be fine. This game, who knows? With Kansas State, I was going to say Cincinnati's not great. Kansas State's good, but after last week, I don't really know. Kansas State is an enigma to me. I don't think they make the Big 12 championship at all anymore. They lost to Houston, so they're pretty much done. I don't know where they have to go. They looked very bad last week. So, again, going to be watching Iowa State. So, we're in the part of the season where so focused on one thing. Of course, someone requested Texas. I think they'll be fine playing Kentucky. Whatever, right? Like 3-touchdown favorite. Texas seems to be in a lot of very high spread games. This one is interesting. Of course, have Notre Dame in by request, but in terms of the college football playoffs, which I still haven't learned a lot about because now Iowa State doesn't really have a chance to get in that, and I'm focused on the Big 12 championship right now. This one has a lot of big implications because both of these teams have a high chance of getting in, and like if Army wins, they'll probably be in it for sure because they'll be undefeated with a win against Notre Dame. They're 14-point underdogs. Who knows what's going to happen, but this will be an interesting game with playoff implications. So that's something to look at least. Unfortunately, it's about the same time as the Iowa State game. This last thing I want to show is a simulator for the different conferences. So this is something you can use for both basketball and football, men and women's. But you can go in and look at the rest of the schedule and make your predictions or make changes to simulate what might happen, and then kind of see what needs to happen for your team to get in. I don't know if there's a way you can be like, I want Iowa State to win, show me all the options, but here's one of them. You can click calculate and it'll show you the standings and why that is after the fact. So Iowa State gets in and plays Arizona State. If Arizona State wins this weekend and Colorado loses this weekend, Colorado can win next week, and Arizona State would have to win next week against Arizona, but of course Iowa State is winning both games, so you can kind of play around with this. It's bball.nothing.net, and then you can go and select your conferences and all that stuff. So it's a neat little tool. Whoops. I don't know why that pops up on that monitor. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. And, you know, we'll see how the season wraps up. It'd be really disappointing if Iowa State starts 7-0 and makes it to a bowl game instead of the Big 12 championship. But I guess that's the good thing about having a good conference. So, at the very least, it's all entertaining. So, yeah, let me know what you're watching this weekend. Let me know what you think about playoff implications and all that. It's starting to get interesting. Next week will be the last week, and start speculating on who will get in and who won't get in, as there's only 1 week left, so you can really get into the nitty-gritty of that. So, yeah, I will see you all next week. Enjoy your weekend of football. Peace.